G'day folks, I'm Beanie and this is how I draw an eyeball. Well, an eye that's made of an eyeball. First, you draw a circle, which is your eyeball. Then you draw yourself a line, a curved line, to make your eyelid. Then we draw another curved line to make the bottom eyelid. Then you make a little tear duct, and then you start doing a circular iris in the middle of your eyeball, because that's kind of how eyeballs work. Then you make a dark line of your iris darker, drawing your pupil all kind of in the middle of that circle. As you can see, the bigger circle, the middle circle, and the little circle being the pupil. Then we draw a little bit of a shape to be our shine. Then we start to work on the iris. This is where I put in some shapes to represent the light. The image to the right here is me demonstrating what I mean about light hitting the eyelid, which then casts a shadow on the eyeball. So now I'm putting in the details for the iris, putting in multiple little lines. They don't have to be too precise, you just kind of randomly do them. And then you kind of just tone in that detail a bit. Make your pupil darker. Then you put in the shade for the eyelid over the top of the iris. Sometimes you use a darker pencil just to bring out that darkness. Then you get to and make that shadow. Then we refine the top eyelid. This is me explaining that eyeballs aren't actually pure white. They're just a little bit off-white, maybe a little kind of like pale cream or something. Then I'm using an eraser just to erase some of the highlights in that eyeball. And then I start drawing in a little bit more detail of the top eyelid, also removing the outer circle for the ball. Then what I do is I just put in a few little lines. This is doing a outer edge of the lower eyelid and doing the same for the top eyelid. And the top eyelid gets itself a bit of eyeliner just to refine the eye just a little bit. And then we're putting in a little bit more shade. Then what we're doing is we're shading the top half of the eyelid, so it looks a little bit more three-dimensional because it's a curved shape, just like the eyeball itself. Then we render out to the edges, do a bit of a dark line. Now what we're doing is doing the eyebrow. This eyebrow is very light, and as you can see, the lines for the eyebrow kind of flow into the middle section. The eyebrow hairs kind of join in together. Then what I do is render in the bottom eyelid. This is where I start doing more just rendering as opposed to drawing, using different pencils to acquire different rendering types. And now we can see that the eye itself is coming together, rendering a little bit more of the skin, so like the inner nose ridge, which casts a bit of a shadow, and then the outer sort of eyebrow ridge area. Put a few little textures in for the skin, and that's me explaining. See, there you go, that's explaining the eyebrow ridge and the bottom cheek section, which is what I've drawn in there rendering wise. And we just tone out with pencil very lightly, rendering in a bit of a top eye thing, that's not quite technically correct, but you get the idea. Then just refine our rendering a little bit more, and then blending in the darkness for the top shadow of the eye, iris and eyeball, putting some reflections of the eyelashes in the reflection, and then refining some more detail in the eyeball to make it a little bit more realistic. Putting in some more rendering here and there as my camera went out of focus. But yes, this is basically how I go for a little bit more detailed version of drawing an eyeball. So I hope you guys have learned something from this video. There's a much longer version if you really want me to upload it, which I probably will anyway. But I decided I'd do something a little bit different other than just drawing dinosaurs. So yeah, subscribe, I'll do more stuff like this. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll catch you next time. Cheerio.